Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. This is Molly. I'm the Executive Director for the RAL National Association. I'm sure most of you know me. I'm here with Troy Albright from True Gardens, which is a, what would you call it, a commercial farm here for the Tower Gardens in Arizona. And he's going to be talking about the many benefits of the Tower Garden. If any of you had recently come to our national convention, you may have stopped by their booth and seen the beautiful tower that was growing there live in front of us. And if you have questions throughout the presentation, there is a questions tab in your control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. You can ask questions throughout, and I can try to answer them for you. If I cannot answer your question, just know we'll wait towards the end of this presentation for Troy to answer those questions. I have a couple of handouts in the handouts section of that control panel as well, one of which is an order form if you decided you wanted to order, and a comparison chart between the two different towers that we're going to talk about today. So, Troy, you can go ahead and come in with us and introduce yourself.
We don't see the presentation, dear.
Oh, you guys can't see it? Oh, I'm
Nope.
so sorry. I'm sorry. There we go.
Okay.
Do you see it now?
Not yet. So maybe I'm in audio mode, but
Oh, Kathy says she can see it. So everyone else can see our presentation. So I'm not sure why you guys, sorry, you guys were having some technical difficulties starting up today. That's okay. It's computers, you know how it goes. You might need to push on, there is a go-to-meeting icon that might be at the bottom of your screen, depending on what type of computer you have.
I don't know just where he went.
just minimize it. So it should be there.
There we are.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah.
yes, the many benefits of Tower Garden. I'm on there now.
There you go. Do you guys want me to start with the video?
That would be great.
Perfect. All right, we're going to pop into a video real quick, you guys, and then we'll go from there.
Molly?
All right. Hello, Molly. Are you there, or did I lose connection? Video turned off, and
So sorry, guys. I lost you there for a second. It kicked me out of the webinar. So I'm going to get back in here and get you guys back into your presentation. Troy, can you hear us?
yes, yes.
Perfect.
This is
So
good.
it's so amazing to watch that because I've been there with you, right? And I know how phenomenal your facility is. So
Yes.
it's so great to be able to watch that in person again and just see how committed you are to this, because I know firsthand that that is you every day. You guys, how he's like giving food to everybody and how he's just all eating everything. That's Troy. Every time you're there, he's eating everything. He's giving you food. It's great. So let's come into our presentation again now.
That's great. So I appreciate inviting me, Molly, to be your guest, because food's becoming more and more important as we go down this pathway. As a licensed pharmacist, I like to analyze everything. And, we look at the food we've been eating, we're being exposed to lots of chemicals. And there's things in our water, there's things in our soil, all those kind of things are really creating an issue for our gut and stuff. So it's interesting to see how we can change our gut health just by the foods we're eating. So part of me trying to grow my own food, because in Minnesota, we were farmers. And, as farmers, we love to just grow and grow. But again, we didn't really worry about quality. We're just trying to get it to market as fast as possible. And with the Tower Garden, it's allowing me to actually grow good, nutritionally dense food year round, right there in my house, my apartment, my condo, out on the back patio. So we're excited to present this to you.
Perfect. Well, should I switch into the next slide then?
That'd be great.
Perfect. Let me see if I can get in here. There we go.
So as we're talking about, those of us that have done a lot of growing food, farming can be difficult. Even growing in a raised bed garden here in Arizona, you're fighting the weeds and different things. Let's go to the next slide here. And in my greenhouse, we're growing food year round. And as you saw in the video, we can grow up to 20,000 different plants per month. And that's doesn't, some people are like, oh, it doesn't seem like that much, but when you see it in person, it just blows you away. And so again, we can grow 3 times faster by going vertical because those roots are hanging in air. And as a result, it's getting more nutrients, more oxygen, and they grow faster. And we've had studies done by the University of Mississippi that does all the studies for the FDA as well. And they show that our food that we grow in this Tower Garden is comparable to what's actually grown in perfect organic soil that none of us have. So we know we can actually grow good, nutritionally dense food. Plus, we don't have to worry about digging or weeding, and there's no reasons to bend over. A lot of us, as I come in close to this 60-year-old mark, all the backaches and things, I don't have to be bending over and turning the soil over. So we don't have to do any of that. So it's great to grow food vertically via an aeroponic system like this. Again, the food's very clean. You can taste the difference, and you'll love having it right there in your own house. Let's go to the next slide. So again, as we go down this path of sustainability, we realize that water's becoming a commodity in some parts of the country here, especially Arizona. We're in a drought, but a lot of us don't even realize we're in a drought. Other parts of the world are experiencing the same thing. And this Tower Garden will use up to 98% less water. So it recirculates, it's in a closed system. And just think, when you start growing your own food, if 20% of us would just start growing our own food here in the US, our carbon footprint would just shrink tremendously. Think about all the plastics, all the gas, petroleum it takes to bring food to the market. I mean, typically food travels 1,500 miles to get to our plate. So do you think it has any real nutritional density? So again, we can affect just our own carbon footprint by growing our own food, and the Tower Garden will really be a big part of that. Next, please. When you look at it, you know, we're really concerned about just everything that we're either spraying on our tower or what the tower is made of. There's a lot of knockoffs of our tower now. Our tower has gone through third-party testing to make sure we're not leaching any plastics, any chemicals into our food. Some of these companies that have made some towers that look very similar, they haven't gone through third-party testing, and those definitely will leach things into our food. So the tower's gone and it's gone through this third-party testing. It has the UV protection, so it's not allowing light into the system. It's a great way to grow food with plastics that actually aren't going to affect our health. Next. There's different grow mediums that have been used in the hydroponic, aeroponic industry for decades. Right there on the right side, that's rock wool. There's different grades of rock wool that are used in the horticulture industry. That's what we grew with for the first 4 years, but the last 5 to 6 years, we're using the product on the left there. It's called Cocoa Core. It's a sustainable product that's actually made from the coconut husk, and it's a certified organic product. So along with our certified organic seeds and our seedlings, we're growing something that's a beautiful organic product. Next slide. Some people are like, can I just use the water out of my faucet? Well, that's great as long as you don't have a water softener. So at home we have a water softener. So we have to use a reverse osmosis system and take that out, or come off a spigot that's not part of that water, soft water. Distilled water can work, but we want those minerals that are in the water. And so this system is designed to work just with tap water. The problem is, depending on what part of the country you're in, it's very chlorinated. It has a lot of chemicals in it. So there's little simple filters that you can use now that are hydroponic filters that will last up to 5 years if you don't have a reverse osmosis system. So again, soft water will actually kill our plants because salt isn't good for them. So we want to look at ways to take that salt out, or if we are using chlorinated water. Next. Our mineral solution, the gentleman, Tim Blank, that you saw in the video, he's the one that developed the Tower Garden. You know, he worked for NASA to develop this grow solution as well. So as we go to Mars and to the moon, anything you take with you is all you have to work with. And so they determined that we should have a grow solution that has 70+ essential minerals and nutrients. So we have a grow solution that is an A and B solution that contains all those minerals and nutrients. And so once you start growing your food with our Tower Garden, you can taste the difference. You know, a lot of us that have been farming for decades, as I still have cousins farming in Minnesota, do they really worry about putting something back into the field? They don't. They're just trying to grow the food as fast as possible and turn it over as fast as possible. So here you're using a grow solution, an A and B tonic solution that actually has 70+ essential minerals and nutrients that are important for us to get on a daily basis. Next. Again, as farmers in Minnesota, we were told that anything the government approved to, as a pesticide or an herbicide, was safe. So we use thousands of gallons of DDT. Even to this day, those active metabolites are still coming out of the atmosphere. And so we know that the goal is not to use those kind of herbicides or fungicides. So we use soap and water, neem oil, something very, very simple, things that are actually made from plants. And so everything we use are actually OMRI approved or approved for organic farming. And again, you're in control of what you spray on your plants. So that's what's exciting. You're in control of the tower, the environment, everything. Next. So there's different options that I want to talk to you about growing your own food right there in your own house. Let's go to the next slide here so we can see those options. So here's the latest tower that's come out. It's called the home growing system. You've got 20 regular grow spots there. So it's about 5 feet tall. You've got 20 regular grow spots, and then you've got 16 baby green spots. Oh, it's right. There's actually 16 and 16s. You can add an extension on that, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So it's actually 16 regular grow spots and 16 baby green spots. You can see this only takes up about 20 inches wide. So basically you only need 2 square feet there. So 24 inches actually, and it comes with wheels, the light system. This is perfect for growing indoors year round. Because if you think about it, you already have your own greenhouse because you already air condition your house or your apartment or your home. And so by having a controlled environment, you have what I have in my greenhouse. So it's great to use the environment. Again, can any of us find just 2 square feet in our house to put this? I'm sure we can. Next slide. This is the flex tower. These are the ones that you saw in my greenhouse. It also is 20 grow spots. Again, you can put an extension on it to make 28 grow spots. As you saw these in my greenhouse, we went up to 52 grow spots. So on the residential side, we typically keep it on the shorter side so people aren't getting on ladders and step stools and falling off and breaking things. But this is the original one. This is actually 30 inches wide, so 2.5 square feet in diameter. Comes with a great dolly that you can purchase along with the support cage. For those of us that are growing outdoors, this is the one we recommend because you have a bigger reservoir. This has 20 gallons of our water and nutrient solution in it. So when you're growing outdoors, especially in the heat, we need that extra water volume to help cool the system as well as maintain enough water to grow our plants, especially in the summertime. So it's a great way to grow. You can see the support cage there. So if you're wanting to grow some tomatoes and cucumbers and zucchinis and squash, that tomato cage is there for us to grow that as well. Next slide. We have different options now. We have the traditional extension set where it's just another 8 more plants there on the left, or you can add an extension set that adds 32 more baby greens. So if you're really into those baby greens, you're clipping those every 7 days, keeping them small. Or we have a combo set now where you have another 4 grow spots along with another 16 grow ports for baby greens. So we have these options. So depending on the kind of growing that you want to do. Next slide, please. We also have a family tower garden. So some of us that, there's multiple family, 4 people or more. We have this tower garden family, and it's 3 different flex gardens. And again, we've come up with a way to make it affordable for a family where it's the same as cash and it's paid over 12 months. It's a great way to be able to get 3 towers and grow 84 different plants, fruits and vegetables, herbs in our own backyard. So this is exciting because we know if we get the kids involved in growing their own food, they're going to eat more of that food. Again, we want you to be healthier, more nutritional food that you can eat, the healthier you're going to be. Next slide. Here's our community garden. So those of us that are working and living in a community, we have the capability of buying a community garden that's 12 towers where we can grow 336 plants in these 12 tower gardens. So it's just another way for those that are thinking on a larger scale for their community, or say they have a community center. Again, there's ways to do that and making it affordable on a monthly basis. Next slide. So in my greenhouse, we have 320 towers that are 9 feet tall. So we're growing on a monthly basis a maximum output of 20,000 living plants. So some of us that are thinking even bigger, or know people that want to put a greenhouse up, or already have a greenhouse, or already have land that they want to turn into just an area where they can grow lots of food. We offer commercial farms, micro farms, different sizes, 10 towers and up. So let's go to the next slide here so we can see some examples. Next slide, Molly. This just shows you the different types of heights you can go 5 to 7 pots there on the left. That's basically 6 feet tall. Or you can go 9 pots, 11 pots, or in my greenhouse, there are actually 52 plants high or 13 pots. So again, on the commercial level, we have many different options based on what, either the building, the facility that we're growing in, or where we're growing. Sometimes we're growing on rooftops. There's so many different options on the patio, greenhouses, warehouses. So it's exciting to have many, many different options available when it comes to growing commercially. Next slide. Our goal is to grow nutritionally dense food. And when you think about it, you're saving money, you're saving time, you're not going to the grocery store, you're growing food that doesn't have any pesticides or herbicides or fungicides on it. We realize that food's becoming a commodity too. We see food prices going up along with gas prices. I mean, everything's going up. What hasn't gone up? So growing your own food is going to really help you save money in the long run, as well as your carbon footprint. And we offer lots of different resources here. So when you buy a tower through Molly and Jean, you're going to see that we have a lot of support for you, resources, videos. And our goal is to help you grow food, be there, help you maintain your towers if we need to, bring teams in and service your tower. Our goal is to figure out how we can do that, as well as providing seedlings. So there's lots of resources available. So the goal is, we don't want you just to buy something, then you don't know how to use it. I offer classes. There's classes that you can come into. Heck, maybe we can even figure out a way in some of the different centers that Jean's involved with. Maybe we bring the classes to you where we have enough people there. We bring the class to you, or those that are able to come to my facility here in Arizona, in Mesa, Arizona. You'll get to see the tower gardens in action, as well as the greenhouse. So depending on what we're trying to do, our goal is to support you as you grow your own food. Next slide.
Okay.
So if you're interested, make sure you contact Molly here. We want you to be able to do this right there in your own backyard, in your own house, your own condo, your own apartment. Yeah, they're family homes. You'll taste the difference. So we're excited about that. We're offering, 25% off on seedlings when you buy towers through Molly and Jean here. So we're excited to be part of that, and we look forward to working with you.
Perfect. All right. Well, I know someone had one question throughout and I did answer it. She was asking if you bought an existing tower and you wanted to add to it. It's possible to just buy more of the trays, correct, and add to it?
Yes. Yep. You can just go to Jean's website there and the add extension sets and do that. We have all those other accessories available. So I think if they contact you, we can walk them through that. Nicole's readily available to assist as well. So
Yeah.
Yes, we can do that.
And you guys, if you did want to order, so there's 2 handouts. I will send them in an email. There's going to be one that has the comparison between the 2 towers that you heard about today. So that's a PDF that's in the handout section. You'll also get it in an email. And then there's going to be the actual order form. So if you wanted to order one, you can use the order form, or you can also go to the website. Did we list the website on here? No, this is the last page. So I can put in the chat the website, but it's probably easiest just to use the handout there.
Correct.
So you guys will get that in an email tomorrow when I send out this recording. And anyone who's gotten to this point, if you are watching this as a recording, it does not show that video that we showed at the beginning. So I will attach the video to the email as well. And hopefully you don't get this far with missing all of that section. It's just going to be blank in the beginning, but I'll also disclose that in the email. But it doesn't look like we have any other questions that have come in. I know real quick, it had some pricing at the bottom, but overall the total cost for each of those towers, the home tower is about $970, correct?
Yep, that's correct, plus tax.
So
Then the flex tower is about $620 without tax, right?
That is correct. And there's, that's the growing system for outdoors. The complete home system is $970 plus sales tax for indoors, and that comes with the lights. it's a great way to grow your food. It's a one-time investment, which, you know, it's part of your life, nutrition and just overall health.
Okay, here's a great question. April says, when you harvest, you take all of it out and clip it, or does it still grow? You leave some of it, correct?
Correct. We encourage people to harvest from the outside in, so you take the biggest leaves off, and that way it'll keep fleshing out. And you can do that up to, if you're growing indoors, up to 6 months, or until you don't like the flavor, and then it's plug and play. Just get some new seedlings that you want to replace, but no, it'll keep growing.
Yeah, so she's mentioning like bok choy. So it grows like lettuce. You'll pick from the outside to keep it getting air underneath it, correct?
Right. So with the pak choi, you definitely want to harvest the bigger leaves on the outside. So then it keeps the leaves on the inside will then come to the outside, and you'll just harvest that plant until that plant isn't producing anymore.
And when you showed that video in the beginning, you were talking about me, because I let my tower, I do have one of these towers at my house, and it is outside. It's one of the flex towers. I let mine get very, very big because it's really a lot of food. I will tell you, these produce a ton of food. So you should plant things that you know you're going to use, or think of recipes that you could use for things and save or freeze for later. Because I did end up growing way more than what I could sustain just for myself, because my family doesn't like to eat vegetables, which I know is horrible. Troy is probably cringing right now.
We all start, remember, I'm from Minnesota, so what did we eat? Meat and potatoes, and our vegetable is corn. Well, we know corn's not. So again, slowly get these things into your diet, and you'll see your gut change. Your health will get better. And I'll encourage you just to slide it into your kids, Molly.
Oh, and now I do, but at the time when I was really, I had a ton of things growing in this tower, especially a lot of lettuce. My family wasn't really eating salads. And when I would make a salad, I would, think that I was going to have to pick off so much from this tower. And really, it wasn't much. And then I'd end up making this huge salad that was almost too much for one person. And I barely even made a dent in the thing. So it is really. And okay, so Kathy, would one tower provide salads at dinner for a family of 3 to 4 each day? 100%. Absolutely. Don't you agree, Troy?
Well, it depends. If you eat a lot of salad, you're probably going to need a couple towers. That way you can have a rotation. It depends. If they're like vegan, they're going to need 3 towers, because they're going to be eating lots and lots of leafy greens. And that way they can rotate through the 3 towers, and that way they'll always have produce growing. 1 tower will usually take care of a couple people. You start getting to a family of 4, you're going to need at least 2 towers.
Yeah, and see, and I guess for me, if we're going to have a salad with dinner, it's going to be a bit of a smaller salad. But if you're going to have a salad that's like a meal, absolutely. Yeah, I would agree. Okay.
Yeah, so the size of our salads, we would have to have, for a family of 4, 3 to 5 towers, because we've really become more just plant eaters. And
amazing. So your whole family, Troy, your whole family's this way.
Yes, the 4 of us. So we're not vegans, but we're really moving towards that direction.
And how did that work with how old were your children when you started doing this?
Oh gosh, my children were, let's see, my son was about 12, and my daughter was 15. So we've been doing this a good 10 years now. And again, we were typically meat and potatoes every meal.
Really? And then they switched to it because you were growing them at home. They wanted to integrate more vegetables into their diet?
Correct. Well, they started growing the food with us, and they saw how well it grew. And anytime you get your kids growing the food and then they see it and taste it, they'll eat more of it. So it really is a great way to get your kids involved in growing their food, harvesting their food. And once they taste it, then they easily will love to eat it.
Yeah, and I would agree, actually. That is probably when my children is when I got the tower. Because I would say before that there wasn't much vegetable eating in our house. And then now that we've gotten the towers, they ask for salads regularly. So that is interesting. And mine are much younger. Mine are 10 and 7. And this was a couple of years ago when we got the tower. So yeah, absolutely.
And it's also another way to provide an activity. When we've had these in the different senior centers, where the seniors, come and harvest and it's, be involved and, are part of that whole process. So it's an exciting way to get the seniors involved.
Yeah, and with it being vertical, I can imagine it's a lot easier to integrate rather than having gardens in the ground or even in a raised bed. That vertical harvesting would be much easier for seniors in a care home.
Exactly. Way easier for them to be part of something great like this.
All right, well, it looks like there hasn't been any other popular questions that popped in, so we must have done a great job answering everyone's questions. I will send out all of this information, including the order forms, the comparison chart, and the video from today in an email tomorrow, along with this recording. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here with us today, and thank you, Troy, for presenting and taking the time to do this with us.
I love doing this. I always try to stay within our time limit because I could talk for hours. I mean, my wife says I could probably talk to myself all day long. And, as a pharmacist, we look at, Western medicine, we think just take a pill to fix this or that. When in actuality, if you'll just eat good quality food, especially food that you grow, you'll be way healthier. You'll reduce your medication usage. I mean, if you're diabetic or those kind of things, you'll see your gut health get better. What a way to grow your own food and actually work on your own health. So we're excited to be part of this with you and Jean, Molly.
Well, I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys always coming out to the convention and showing off these beautiful towers. And I wish more people could get out to see your facility because it is incredible. It's one of those places, it's like going to, what is that, the Biodome, where they have all the different habitats. That's how I feel when I go to your place.
Yeah, someday we'll have towers in that biodome in Tucson. So it's on
There you
we're working on it. So it'll happen. I've been working on it.
All right, well, perfect. Well, I will talk with all of you soon and I'll be sending emails out tomorrow.
Sounds great. Thanks again, Molly.
Have a great one.